Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. So this video is from Thomas Sowell and it's titled How Obama Weakened the American Army. You guys, let's check this video out.
The constrained vision, and again I'm quoting from your book, A Conflict of Visions. War is seen as originating in human nature and being contained by institutions. The unconstrained vision. Those with the unconstrained vision tend to explain war in terms of either misunderstandings or of hostile or paranoid emotions raised to such a pitch as to override rationality.
Yes.
Is it fair to say that the constrained vision is not surprised by war, but the unconstrained vision is always a little startled when a war breaks out?
Oh, absolutely. That you can take this back to the Federalists, where they said, why do we think that the 13 colonies will make war on each other if they're not united? And the answer was because that's what countries have always done. And so it's not a question of, in fact, it's not just war, it's poverty, it's crime. All those are things which people with the unconstrained vision feel needs explaining. Whereas people with a constrained vision think what needs explaining is how do we sustain peace? How do we have law and order? How do we have morality?
How would you interpret then, I can't remember whether Robert Kennedy was quoting someone else or whether this was original to him or to his speechwriters. The quotation is something like, some see the world and ask why. I see what could be and ask why not.
Yes, yes.
That's a kind of that's the unconstrained vision in a nutshell.
Absolutely.
All right. John McCain in February 2003, quote, this is the constrained and unconstrained vision as they apply to the question of warfare. In this age, liberating oppressed peoples from tyranny, from the tyranny of those who would do us harm, serves not only narrow national interests, but the ordered progress of freedom. Close quote. Barack Obama, in August of last year, quote, in the first 100 days of my administration, I will travel to a major Islamic forum and deliver an address to redefine our struggle. I will make clear that we will stand with those who are willing to stand up for their future and that we need their efforts to defeat the prophets of hate and violence. Close quote. What do you make of those two?
I think Barack Obama has a lot more faith in verbal interactions than I would.
That's the unconstrained vision.
Oh, absolutely. You see, well, what he's proposing under the guise of change is what has been tried for 2 decades between the two world wars, and which failed disastrously in helping to bring on the Second World War.
Well, that brings up another point. Is it fair to say that the constrained vision is more aware of history? That somehow or other there's an appreciation of and even a hunger for historical understanding, searching for precedent, what has worked before. Most things won't work. Therefore, we must work especially hard to discover what has worked in the past. And in the unconstrained vision, is there something... You don't say this in the book. This is a question on which I'm taking a total flyer here. But is there something almost anti-intellectual about the unconstrained vision, an unwillingness to look at the large facts of history?
There's an unwillingness to look at the facts of history, and it's anti-intellectual in the sense of intellectual processes. Unfortunately, it's all too characteristic of intellectuals as an occupational category. Between the two world wars, it was the leading intellectuals of the Western world who talked the biggest nonsense. I mean, it was Bertrand Russell who said that the British should disarm, while Hitler was building up this military machine across the Channel. And in France as well, and Russell was by no means the only one in England.
So why? Why would the unconstrained vision prove so particularly appealing to intellectuals? I think we could say, if I said to you, what would you expect a survey of the faculties of the top 100 academic institutions in the United States to show? If we could come up with a set of questions that would show whether the faculty adhere to the constrained or the unconstrained vision, you and I would both expect a huge majority to subscribe to the unconstrained.
Oh, absolutely.
Right? How come? Why? Why is that appealing to intellectuals?
That is a tough one. But I think that, I guess the short answer is they imagine that good people like themselves can make this thing go. And if it hasn't worked in the past, it's only because they haven't had the right people doing it. In other words, communism would have worked if it hadn't been for Stalin. You know, but of course, once you have a system like communism, people like Stalin are the ones who will come to the fore.
All right. Back to warfare and defense. Barack Obama's plan for defense spending as of last year, I'm quoting his speech, "I'll stop spending $9 billion a month in Iraq. I will cut tens of billions in wasteful spending. I will cut investments in unproven missile defense systems. I will not weaponize space. I will slow our development of future combat systems, and I will institute an independent defense priorities board to avoid unnecessary spending." Close quote.
Well, that's straight out of the 30s. There were people who were saying Britain should not. The British Labour Party in the early to mid 30s voted consistently against defense spending, and they argued that our security does not depend on armaments, but on disarmaments. And so when Chamberlain went to Munich to talk to Hitler, it wasn't just his own party, the conservatives, who applauded him when he came back. It was the Labour and liberals as well. He was probably the most lionized man among Western leaders, perhaps, of the past century.
John McCain, you've just compared Barack Obama to Chamberlain. I'm going to see if I can get you to compare John McCain to Churchill. How's that?
That a little bit harder, but go ahead.
All right, I'll take a shot at it. John McCain. It's very hard to find. At least I found it hard to find an elaborated defense spending plan in McCain's website and campaign of proposed. But he has at least at one point advocated an across-the-board federal spending freeze, but accepted defense spending from that freeze. And he would also, this is a quotation from a recent speech, increase the size of the U.S. Army and Marine Corps from the currently planned level of roughly 750,000 troops to 900,000 troops, close quote. So what you get in John McCain, this I think is fair to say, even if I can't find a specific proposal to get you to comment on, the notion that here's federal spending and here's defense spending. And it occupies, because it must, a privileged position within the structure of federal spending. What do you make of that?
Well, I think he recognized that you have to survive before you do anything else.
All right. So that strikes you as just good common sense.
Yes.
And McCain doesn't strike you as too belligerent?
Defending yourself is not belligerent.
All right. All right.
That was such an interesting one from Thomas Sowell. I really enjoyed this so much because with Thomas Sowell, you get to learn a lot. The truth is that Obama did not just weaken the American army, but also weaken America as a whole. The lives of most Americans are in ruins after Obama administration, and hopefully they get their life back on track. Obama could have made a difference when it came to racism, but instead he made it so worse, because most of the people that were reduced in the Air Force were black men. This is a familiar enemy who can relate to their struggles, yet went behind their backs to lay them off. Let me know what you guys think about Thomas Sowell's take on this topic. Leave your thoughts, and I'll see you all in my next video. Bye guys.